Hi everyone, welcome to Hobby Hangout. Oh my, what
The
is
police are after me again.
what is happening?
I stole all the paint. Oh god.
Wow, that was unique. What happened there, Ben?
Uh, because I live next to a large road, the emergency vehicles use it quite often. So,
I see.
so.
It seems
it
like
was also it was actually the fanfare to the introduction of Hobby Hangout. So.
yeah, it seems like every week we have like this siren klaxon that goes off. It's almost like the Avengers assemble, but no, it's hobbyists assemble. Yeah. First off, welcome to Hobby Hangout. We stream this every Wednesday, 12 p.m. BST, GMT, depending on the time of the year. And if you don't know what we are, if you come across the OnTableTop.com, we have a whole variety of news. Welcome aboard. Today we are looking at the project system, so right up on the top of the website, clicking on projects at OnTableTop. If you wish to join us, feel free to put your comments into the chat and make your own projects as well and share them with us. Ben, you're very low down, I should say.
Low down.
Yeah.
Tip my. I'm not low down on the big thing, but I'm low down on the little.
Okay. Well, hopefully we get to fix that. I see Coco's here. Thanks, Coco, for joining us from right over there. Hi, Robert. Hi, Tough Ears, and hi, Beast of War. Whew. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with some Frostgrave minis, and this is by Civil Courage. They started off this project in June. His local game store was starting up a new campaign, so he thought it'd be a good start to get dive back into the hobby. You see some really nice colours here coming across. I really like Frostgrave because it seems very colourful, very fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of drawing together a whole bunch of disparate, wandering folk who are going off in search of fortune in the frozen city. So it allows you to kind of play around the idea that you may have someone from one end of the world and then someone from the other, and then obviously wizards are usually very flamboyant as well. So
how dare you? Flamboyant? No.
Flamboyant wizards, they're a thing.
But yeah, there's some really nice stuff here. I feel like missed out in the bases because he said he's ready for a scouting mission. He's going to be out in the concrete streets of Frostgrave, is it?
Yeah, I think the city's called Felstad or something. Maybe?
Yes, perhaps. But yeah, those look really nice. That looks like the Green Stuff World roller stuff. So
it is, yeah. I think it's been done using one of some milliput and one of those rollers. Yeah.
I would say even just a wash of very, very light blue, just in the creases, look really nice. Give that a little bit of a punch.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. But these are very, very colourful. I really like them. It's probably the most colourful Frostgrave warband I've seen so far. Very nice. So let's see what they look like on the table. I see a lot of them toppled over, so it can only be good news or bad news. It looks like bad news. Yeah.
According to his battle report, he soon lost both his wizard and apprentice to bolts from archers. The opposing wizard throwing elemental bolts at them.
That's the worst. Lightning bolt.
However, they were instrumental in using telekinesis to drag some treasure closer to his board edge. There you go. So I managed to bag some treasure whilst also going down to magical fire.
That's a really nice table as well. I always associate Frostgrave with very wintry maps.
Yeah.
I suppose in the name, but this seems to be quite a nice little like street view. A little bit wintry themed, but still very nice as it stands as well. And there's some different types of terrain in there, but it all seems to work out very nicely.
Yes.
I'd be interested in trying it out at some point. Nice work, Silver Courage.
Sorry, go. No, I was going to say it would be nice to see some of the new battle system stuff on that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, especially that big castle that's just been announced.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. So
and they got winter tops to the buildings as well now. So.
yeah. So if you want to get your winter coat on 6 months out of the year, or 10 months if you live in Northern Ireland. But yeah, next up we are looking at Mage and his Night Lords, and he's been working very, very hard on this stuff. Some amazing work is coming out. He's got tons and tons of photographs. One thing I will say is that Mage, because of your white background, I think your camera is taking a lot of that white and overexposing the background rather than the miniature itself. So just be wary of that. You can fix that just by having, say, this is your miniature, having a light behind it. So just to light up the things that are in front, behind your camera and in front of the miniature. Just to light that up a little bit, because as you can see, like, you can't really see much detail too much in here. But on these other further photos that you say you don't understand why the brightness is, it's a little bit overexposed. However, it does show all the details, and you can actually see, because here it looks like very, very dark navy, whereas on these photos here it's a little bit brighter, and it's probably more the true color as well.
Yeah.
And seeing some of that nice gold work as well. Really nice work.
I really like the Zest Chaos Space movies we've been working on. I think they look really cool. And the way that he's picked out the muscle work there is really awesome. Sort of gives it that almost like cartoon over the top look. It's really good.
Yeah. I've said before, like, there's some of the shading that I really like, and I think it suits for certain. I think certain paint schemes work really nicely, and I think this works as well.
Yeah.
Very,
because
very
the models are like over the top, aren't they? So it kind of works.
But you don't say, Ben. They're not over the top at all.
But are you sure? Are you sure not everyone?
They've got spikes on their knees.
Going to the toilet must be a real problem.
Ooh, yeah. There's a lot of work involved in that. But yeah,
I mean, it's just like the pain of having to go to the toilet in a onesie. It's just, you know, such a hassle. So.
So
I really like. Sorry, I was going to say as well. I really like the Martian sort of Earth that he's done for the bases as well. I think that's a really nice counter to the blue tones and the paler tones for the rest of the model as well. It's really good.
I would say having the contrast of the blue and the orange is really nice work as well.
Yeah.
Opposite colors, they do attract. Very, very cool. So very nice work there from Mage. Some very cool stuff. So moving on, I have a huge list, so please, I apologize if we're maybe rushing through some of these projects. However, we have a list of maybe about 20 projects to go through, and with the last experience of What Are You Painting Now, it does take us quite some time to get through talking about projects. But yeah, if you have any projects of your own that you wish to show off, feel free to click right here up in this Hobby Hangout stream on tabletop.com, or post it in the chat on Twitch.
As Tuffy says in the chat, Slanesh do enjoy spikes on these, and I'm fairly sure that's definitely the case.
Next we have a new project from Robert. Some finished undead. I was going to say unfinished dead. The skeleton is from War Games Atlantic, and another 31 of them to be primed. No clue where the other figure comes from. If you recognise it, please let us know.
The mummy with the massive sword.
Oh wow! Why is it holding a sword like that?
He's clearly a sword bearer or something.
Here, master. Here's your sword. That's all I imagine. It's just this like a little minion coming up with a, because it's probably an oversized sword.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a very small minion. That's all I imagine is that kind of young Frankenstein style. Like, here, master, your sword.
I think the skeleton was actually painted using contrast paints as well, I think. And then a little bit of highlighting. Just looking down at the post below that.
The post below, okay, let me... So it says breaking out breaking contrast cherry. So using the contrast paint, yeah, they work very nicely. I think you might be able to get like almost the same kind of stuff with the dip, but I'm not too sure. I think the dip might pull a little bit more.
Yeah. My way of always painting skeletons was go brown to begin with, and then add a dry brush of like an off-white, and then a dry brush of another white over the top of it, because dry brushing is the king of techniques. However, this does mean that if you're playing around with a lot of the very delicate skeletons, that like an arm will go ping and fly off somewhere if you're dry brushing too enthusiastically. But so yes, watch your dry brushing fingers.
So if anyone knows where this miniature is from, feel free to comment within. Hopefully we find out what it is, because Robert's looking to buy some more of them. Maybe look up mummies wielding swords like guitars. I'm sure maybe somewhere might, like Reddit, it might have come up or something. But yeah, some really nice work there. The contrast works really well, so if you've got 31 of these, I doubt it's going to take very long at all.
No, that's all. And it's interesting to see that Robert's doing a lot of lots of small scale stuff as well for fantasy, which is really good.
Yeah.
Lots of tiny fighting men. Got some dwarves in there and some humans as well, which I think is really cool.
Yes. So sorry, I'm currently looking at Bob Cockane's latest entry. So he is talking about. Let me just switch over. So this was linked in via Twitch chat. So next up we have Bob Cockane's project, and I believe this is Forbidden Worlds. Yes, Warren, we are streaming. What's up?
Sorry, dudes. Come on, let me in there. Say hello.
You came in with quite a quest. So
yes,
what is it?
I was coming in to get you to restock the fridge, but clearly Hobby Hangout is more important than restocking the fridge.
Yes,
I'm just going to sit here and
we're looking at Bob Cockane's 15mm World War II adventure. This is for Flames of War, doing some research, background reading into this here.
Oh, nice. This is part of the Slow Grow League then, is it?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. I'm going to give an update to the Slow Grow League, hopefully this week. But since coming back yesterday, I haven't stopped. Not even for a second.
This is not going to help.
Yes, but I've cut out bread.
I mean, this is not a substitute for bread.
Well, it'll have to do. It's diet. Look, I think
that
it's
doesn't
diet.
make sense. It's
sugar free. So
still not good for you.
Yeah. Hi Ben. It's good to see you, man. Looking forward to the weekender with you this week.
Very good.
So
are we going to be storming Area 51?
Yes. Lloyd actually was talking to me with our minds.
Okay.
I will be storming Area 51 in spirit.
Right.
You apparently have to do a Naratu run. That must be
Naruto.
Well, I don't know. It must be a millennial thing. Okay. I'm gonna do more of like a.
Ask Justin, because Justin's the wee bit here.
Gentle skipping towards Area 51 in my mind, because I'm too scared to fly there. Okay. However, Lloyd was freaking me out. Probably should keep this for the weekender so I can freak Ben and Justin out.
Have a teaser. Sure.
He was freaking me out about. Do you know these Tic Tac UFOs?
Yes, I've heard of them. Yes.
Lloyd had a really cool thing to tell me about a patent that has been discovered by the U.S. Navy. More than one, Lloyd tells me. More than one. Thank you for that, brother Lloyd.
The Navy's the ones that put things into production a lot.
The
Anyway,
Navy.
so, yeah.
Do you know what? See,
So
whenever
that's gonna
it comes to like the U.S. military,
Yes.
the Navy is where it's at. Right? The Navy is absolutely. We think about the Army and the Air Force. Nah, Army and Air Force are like minnows. The Navy are the ones. They're the ones with all the power.
They're the sharks with lasers.
Dude, they had dolphins with bombs.
I do
They
remember.
did. That was the thing.
All right, so the Navy, they're the ones that are. We're getting some comments about beards and how I'm wrecking your beard.
I'm wrecking
There
my
you go.
beard.
Anyway,
Okay.
seeing as you're not going to stock the fridge, I'm going to have to go and find someone else to stock the fridge
Yeah.
while I
God love
supervise.
you. God love you if you run out of boost.
So I can't run out of boost. So, dudes and dudettes, it is a pleasure to see you on Hobby Hangout. Okay, cultists, I'm still working on the Secret Society handshake. I have one in mind. All right.
Okay. Farmer handshake.
It's a little bit, but as backstagers gradually morphing into cultists, I think we can take a little bit of a tickle.
We'll have to Naruto run towards each other.
And you know what? OTT becomes OnTableTop. Oh,
God.
tickle!
No.
Tickle! Right, see you to it. Or
Right.
see you at it.
Okay.
Hey, Justin!
As we were rudely interrupted.
Wait! Don't wait!
Here we go.
Don't wait! Wait! He's here!
What's going on?
He's here!
What?
The bold wonder is here as well. Justin, go stock the fridge.
I need to transfer a desk and stuff.
Okay.
Transfers are not important. Only fridge is important. Okay, Bob Cocaine. We apologise. We haven't been looking at your project. We have been looking at it, but from a distance through Warren's distractions. The Slugger League looks fantastic. It's good to see that other people are working away on them after the Flames War boot camp as well. So, successful boot camp.
Yes, very good.
How are you, Ben, after all of that?
I was just enjoying the spectacle.
Yeah, you should come over here and fill up the fridge.
I mean, I will do, but nearer the time of the 40k hobby weekend, I think.
Okay, speaking of what you're up to, Ben, you've been working on the First Law miniatures. Well,
Yeah.
I say the First Law miniatures. They're really footsore, are they?
They are North Star plastic barbarians done up as characters from the First Law. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And First Law is written by Neil Gaiman. No,
By Joe Abercrombie.
Joe Abercrombie. Yes.
And I've realised that I haven't updated that project with my latest image.
Shocking, Ben.
I need to go to Twitter and enlighten the world and remember that I've forgotten my password on Firehawks.
Oh, my days.
But yes, so I've been playing around with the plastic kits for those. I think they've come across really nice. I think they've worked really well. Logan was a bit hard to do, but I've managed to find a Marauder head from an old Warhammer Fantasy plastic kit that I've used.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been really enjoying painting those. I've got 2 left to do. I'm trying not to get distracted by Bros and Badger stuff because I played at the tournament on the weekend. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't finish those as I move the squirrel off of my painting
How
table.
did that do? Did Michael cheat?
Well, Michael won. Michael won.
So
And
yeah, so I saw. That's why I'm asking. Did he cheat?
The thing is, though, right? No designer of a game is meant to be any good at their game. So clearly, Michael is an aberrant. And he should not have been able to have been
Is
an
an anomaly.
anomaly. Yeah. Not an aberrant. That makes it sound a lot worse. I've put a link in there to my Twitter where you can see my finished model for Logan as well. So.
Okay. Oh no, I can't. Okay, that doesn't work for me because it opens up. It opened up the Twitter app, which
Shall I put it in Skype? Or?
no, it's okay. I can take it here. But it opened up the Twitter app, which I wasn't aware that it was installed in this machine. So this is for Nine Fingers, Logan Nine Fingers.
Yeah, so that's Logan Nine Fingers, the main barbarian character from the series.
Cool.
Painted him up, added a bit of blood on there for him. It was kind of cool.
I really like this character, Black Doe. I think he's
Black
pretty
Down.
cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed painting Black Down. I really liked how the plastic kit from North Star, everything is really highly detailed. So when you use a wash on it, it sort of sinks into the creases in the face and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when you do the highlight after the shade, it really makes the models pop.
Means you don't have to paint eyes then.
Exactly, because I hate painting eyes and I will never paint eyes. So,
I really like the Rod 3 trees as well. I think it's the beards.
Beards
man.
make it, man. Beards make it. Yeah, beards are the best. bids draw a model together. I think they give you something else that means that the like, for example, I quite like how Tildura turned out, but he's just not complete without a beard, is he? I wish he'd had a beard.
I'm not too sure about the cloaks, but it's not the paint job, it's the sculpt. I feel like I don't know, they always look kind of like not messy, but all kind of the same.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's just down to like sculpting is hard. I'm just being overly picky.
I didn't think that the fur ones were good. It looked that bad when it was plastic, but then when I painted it up, it was a little bit odd. Maybe. But I think maybe if I worked a couple more colours into there, so it looks a little bit more like a timber wolf or something.
I'd love to see more like patchwork cloaks.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You see a few of those on some fantasy miniatures. I think some of the Frostgrave stuff has a bit like patchwork feel to it.
Anyway.
Yeah, really enjoyed picking that up. And if you want to see some stuff from the event on Saturday, there's Michael's project, and also I've put a couple into my Burrows and Badgers project as well. So,
yeah.
Speaking
of Burrows and Badgers, looking at Soldado's project as well.
Oh yes.
And today, children will be looking through the rectangular. Why can't I say this word? Window. He's been working on this little piece of terrain for his Burrows and Badgers, and it's kind of like a tavern or a cathedral kind of thing.
He's making a mansion of Marnius Blackwick, which he'll be taking to 2020.
Wow.
Very cool.
I absolutely adore how he's done the stained glass window, because it is just
a plastic box,
plastic tray that you can get from fruit aisles. He says he got it from the medicine aisle, which just holds all the medicines. You may as well. Fantastic. Whether he stole it or acquired it via payment. I suppose they probably just give it to him for free. But yeah, that's an amazing little piece, and I love the door as well.
It's an absolutely fantastic. It shows up what you can do with foam as well, actually. Using, because foam's very pliable and you can mess around with it. You can score it, which is what he's done here, obviously, to create the brick walls and things. Like one of the, I've seen some people designing sort of castles and stuff, but used in skirmish games, and a lot of it is done with just foam like this. It was blue rather than pinky purple. And just using a biro to sketch in, as he's done here, the wall sections, and then so when you paint it, it just looks amazing.
I've seen a lot of people where they'll just sketch in with biros, and it looks a bit weird whenever you
to begin with.
Yeah, because it's just like blue. It looks like you're drawing it yourself, but whenever it's painted fully up, it looks fantastic. And I think it'll work really nicely for the Burrows and Badgers stuff. It'll look really nice. Yeah. And even just the stained window.
In-depth project as well. It's really good too.
Stained window, I think, is just what it's all about for me.
That stained glass window is very cool. And you can actually see some of the awesome stuff at the end, further down where he shows up some of the table he built and all that kind of thing, which is really cool.
Yes, we've seen that a long time ago before, but we're trying to move swiftly on. This is the U-Boat board game.
This is really cool.
Andrax. And I thought I'd show this off because it's a little bit different. It's not often we see much board game activity, specifically one that's more controlled around an app. But this U-Boat board game seems to work really nicely. And he's making up these little boxes. What are they for again?
They're
for tokens.
The components and stuff for each of the different characters, I think, which is really cool. So he's using it as an inlay in the box so that he can drop stuff into it, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah. That's
such a cool idea. It adds a little more character to it and sort of draws it back to that historical essence as well, which is really good. So,
and
it's a fun game as well.
So. I think it was a fun game to play. No, it was a long edit whenever I was working on it. I think it's one of those games where you really need to be watching it non-stop.
Yeah. Not the fainter part. It's a big proper historical game in a way. So. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Very nice. Comes with a surprise, no dice, but approximately 100 cards and more than 200 tokens. My days. And this is where the wee boxes for tokens are. I wonder, did he make these little boxes, or did he just add the strips?
I've got off the project now, but he does say somewhere further down about the where they came from. I'm just going to scoot through.
I also like as well that he's done a little bit of research and looking into the actual U-boat submarines themselves, and just seeing how much detail is on the cardboard.
Yeah. They were little cheap boxes that he managed to acquire from somewhere, and then he painted them up and added the rope and stuff.
And as well, that this is all like an honors project as well, because one of the people who sadly passed away during the U-boat was one of his great uncle Paul Paul Shinmere as well, and this is a picture of him as well. So nice little tribute for his great uncle. Nice little piece of history going down in the living room right there.
Talking
Awesome
of boxes for a second, right?
All right.
So when we went to the little tournament on the Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
these are the cool little boxes that we got from Oswald.
Oh
and
wow.
inside them, it was some cool stuff. So we got a. I'm just showing off now. We got a tape measure. Which is
Yeah.
cool. I forgot mine on the day. And we got a little bust as well, which is going to be on the web store in the future. So don't worry if you feel left out.
Cool.
So, really cool little ferret.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're going to be painting that up pretty soon?
I will, but I want to mount him first. And I know how much people hate plinths and stuff, but I'm going to get myself like a really nice wooden plinth, and then I'm going to brave drilling into the base of the model.
Yeah.
So that I can mount him properly on something. But yeah,
Very cool. There's quite a lot of websites out there that'll just sell little plinths and stuff anyway. So
me and my friend found one, and they're not too expensive. Just nice little bits of carved wood.
Mm-hmm. So next up, this is Civ 6mm Adventures by Civ the Courage, and 6mm. Wow, that's impressive in itself. But having a look at these strips, I remember when Cad from Foreground was over, he was demoing their newest game, which was 6mm as well, I think, or something.
So, yeah.
But I remember him saying that 6mm is a lot easier to paint than any other scale, because it's essentially it's a dot of paint. It's a dot of paint, and that's your miniature essentially finished. Like maybe six dots, you're done. But to have the courage and perseverance to go through this many is quite impressive, and they look great as well, especially on the bases here. It's quite a nice little feature piece.
I've been looking through this and following it for a couple of weeks now, and I really like how it's come together. It's been really nice seeing him build up the units and not only do sort of those packed regiments and stuff where you see like all the men next to each other, ready to get into shielders and that kind of thing, but also the spread out skirmishes as well.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this stuff comes down to, like, a lot of it's all about picking out those really bright colours in order to make sure like things like shields and bases pop a little bit in the characters. But also the basing, I think, is a big thing. And I think if you get the basing right, I think 6mm on that kind of small scale really, really looks fantastic. So I think it's really good stuff.
Yeah, I think so too.
The
He's done
only
great work in the basing here.
Yeah, the only thing I'd probably move, I'd be interested to see whether or not people would play around with it, is the idea of putting little trees on, because obviously a lot of the battlefields were fields, obviously, hence the name. But it would be nice to see like a couple of little trees sort of dotted in and around as well, to show like people sort of running through little bits of woodland and stuff as well. That'd be kind of cool, especially for skirmishes.
Some fairy trees. They all avoid them at all costs. Be very interesting. I think we're going to be now looking at Lost Colossus, but I think we saw a lot of this from last week in the community spotlight.
There is an update in there. where he's showing off a larger terrain section that he's building.
Yes, so this is from Denzin, and if you hadn't checked out last week, we give them a community button, community spotlight, which is kind of like our weekly thing where we take best idea, our best kind of project overall that we've noticed on the forums and on the project, and we just give them a little bit of recognition with weekly content. But we looked at this, and such an amazing use of terrain using mannequins and hands, etc., and use them for the tabletop. But moving on, he's been working on the actual temple itself and using old MDF kit, so just unused pieces, and adding them as wall texture. That's fantastic. What a great use of some scrap material to make an actual pattern for a temple wall, especially out in the jungle. That works perfectly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this when it's a few stages onwards, and he's added, because he used a lot of the texture paint for the, or at least texture in some cases for the body parts, but to show bits that have fallen into disrepair as they've landed in the jungle, that kind of thing. But I see these when they're covered in a little bit more of that sort of texture, and also creepers and vines and all sorts of things working their way over the building. That's cool. So,
it's difficult to imagine what this would look like, because you look at it now and it's just a piece of MDF on card, but looking beyond it, looking into the future, as you may.
I love that in the third picture there's just a belt with some shotgun shells in it.
I saw that.
Just casually hanging by the side.
Well, we know that Denzin is a historical reenactor, so that's probably what that's for. We would like.
That's
to
what
think.
he uses to make sure his minions paint and stuff.
We would like to think. If you'd like to have a look at that project, go across to that link and have a nosy for yourself. Next we have In Space. This is Lost in Space. I believe this is by Denzin as well. And if I can actually put in the link correctly, we might be able to see it. This is Wayland stuff, Wayland Yutani Corp for is it Aliens? Isn't it?
This is AVP
Aliens.
Unleashed, so yeah.
So we've been converting and building better worlds. So here we can see some of the stuff he's been working on. I think Denzin, he created a lot of Zulu content for quite a long time, and whenever he was finished with that, it was an amazing piece. But I think he's been doing a lot more sci-fi stuff now. He's been jumping into different pieces of terrain, and it's nice to see a little bit of variety as well.
I love some of the pictures further down where he's taken his predator crew out into the actual jungle of his back garden and had them find the undergrowth, as it were.
You can just imagine playing around with that and quoting everything from the movie. Because for sure, you just build a small hut.
Yeah.
And go in, do the handshake. What's the matter? CIA got you pushing too many pencils. What a fantastic little piece as well. Putting it out in the garden, not afraid to get dirty. Awesome work. You see the predator in the background.
Very cool.
Love it. As well, I keep forgetting to link in, but if you want to have a look at that project, click that link, you can go across. You can also make yourself an account on tabletop.com, and at the very top of these posts you can give them ratings. If you feel like they're very good at tutoring, click that link. If you're good at skill, click it. And if it's maybe a really good idea, why not click that? And all the votes get collated at the very, very top and give you this cool little pie chart. And it's a nice way to reward everyone as well. My voice is going, Ben. It's running away. Next we have...
Sorry, I'm not going to help you.
Next we have Spectrum Miniatures by Charge Dog.
Yeah.
And let's see. I'm just linking through. So very cool little like modern warfare combat, MDF painted. Worry not, we're taking a look at Backside Studios offering for Warzone Arabia. That's some really nice terrain actually. Without a mat or without a game board, it seems to work quite well with the pine table.
Yes, it does. I really like seeing a lot more modern stuff coming to the tabletop. We saw there was some stuff in the news, and I think last week as well, where people were talking about a lot more modern stuff coming out from the American side of Footsore and that kind of thing. And it's been really cool seeing, obviously, Spectre grow and grow and grow and develop things. I spy. It looks like there's like a John Wick character in his little team as well, which I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah, well, kind of, perhaps.
Very awesome.
Keanu Reeves has now become the new Chuck Norris, I think.
Yeah. I think he's better than Chuck Norris. But I would say that. But no, it's really cool seeing a lot more modern stuff coming, and it's interesting seeing people paint up military stuff that isn't done in the style that you're normally seeing from military stuff on the tabletop. Because obviously a lot of the time you're seeing khaki and green, and that's about it.
Yeah, because a lot of modern stuff takes place in like the desert and stuff now.
Yeah. But with the modern stuff, we're seeing them do those desert fatigues, but also a lot of black, a lot of like very
there's always a black SUV in there somewhere.
And it's really nice because a lot of the operatives that you'd see, doing the sort of high level missions will wear a lot of civvy gear.
Yeah.
So you get to play around with some interesting paint schemes there as well, which is kind of cool. So yeah, very awesome.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next up we have some Harry Potter, some of my favourite universe. I'm just going through the
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. If you didn't know as well, we've released some recent Harry Potter unboxings, and that's for the second wave. So I thought here Harry Potter, but this is random miniatures by Nog and the Nog.
But there is a troll as the first of the random miniatures, so
airbrush skin tone. I think that works really nicely, actually.
It does.
That just a tone of yellow just on his belly looks really good, and as you can see there, actually, that looks great. I love it. I love the detail in the leather. There seems to be like a shade of purple in there just for that those deeper recesses in the leather as well. Really nice. I'm kind of sad that this model doesn't have a wand sticking up his nose. Yeah.
I'm sure you can get a bit of sprue and go and stick it up it. But,
not even a bit of sprue, maybe even just like a little brass rod.
That'd be fun.
Save it up. But yeah, very nice work. I love that'd
be a cool scenario to play out as well for the game, I think.
Yeah, just escaping the bathroom troll.
Yeah, Harry Potter, Ron and Hermione running away from the troll and stuff and dealing with it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of small scenarios in the story overall that could come into light. With the Harry Potter game. I mean, you don't have to play the scenarios that are in the books or in the movies, but you could play the more like small time stuff of like maybe there's a troll in the dungeon, or maybe just there's bats in one of the classrooms just escaped out of the cage. I think it'd be kind of cool. Yeah. You have to do an owl run.
That'd be cool. And as we talked about, I think it was last year now, we did an article series from one of your friends, wasn't it, who was talking about taking Tales from the Loop and giving it like a Harry Potter sort of vignette, which sort of veneer, which sort of really cool. So you could always use the night models for a little bit of role playing as well. You could always paint up and change the students to look like characters you want to play in the movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Next we have Umbra's The 80 Years War. This is from the Netherlands and Spain. So just out of the blister, these look actually pretty cool looking.
Wow, yeah.
Nice little miniatures assembled up.
That is a very clean cutting.
Yeah, you wonder if that's a... You wonder if that's the... So there's the thing I recently learned. People who make print boards, usually in like in the east, around Kyoto, they have a television board, and they have a board that they work on essentially whenever they're carving. So what they usually they have a television board in which they'll carve at, and because TV producers will say like, oh, can you do that? But again, can you do certain? But this, can you do that? And they're just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. So they have a TV board that, it looks good and it will make a print, but it's something like a throwaway thing. So I wonder if this is like a throwaway board, where this is a TV board.
Yeah.
Make it look all good.
Showing up the fanciness.
Yeah. But yeah, these are painted up really nicely. Nice blue and orange, really popping out of the whites there.
I have not seen this project before, but it's absolutely fantastic. I really like it. It's really cool.
Spanish
And,
armored pikemen.
What was the Roberts said in chat that this is one of his favourite projects because one army is based in the spring and the other in the autumn, which is really cool.
Wow, so
Very cool.
I assume this is the autumn one here, and this is maybe the spring. Different coloured bases. Could be
You've got
wrong,
flowers
but
on the
let's have a
spring
look.
ones, haven't you? And the lighter grass shade, I think. So, very
Wow.
cool. Yeah. I learned today all about the Barons' War. I didn't know this was another English civil war that we had, but Footsore have got some new miniatures out, well, coming soon anyway. And so I was learning all about the Barons' War that all happened during the 1200s. It was very cool. So
These are painted really nicely
They are. Yeah.
as well. I don't know what scale they are. They look quite small though.
I'm going to say that they are 28 mil because he's using the pike and shot box for some of the miniatures, and then he's using some from a different range as well. He's using some Brother Vinny, I think. That's for some of his leader characters. So I would assume it's 28 mil. Yeah.
Joining Grognard's Ben apparently.
No, I'm not joining the Grub. I'm just doing legitimate research.
Okay, next we have Mage's Age of Sigmar.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So, as Mage has been working night and day on his night haunts, he's also been working on his Dark Elves from Age of Sigmar as well. And there's some amazing little pieces in here. So, if you wish to join, click on that link. You have a look through some of these nice things. As before, I think the white background is detracting a little bit from the miniature, but I love the paint scheme on these. That really hard highlighting pieces work really nicely on the bone. And yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, I really back in the day when I was playing Warhammer Fantasy Battles, I was drawn to the idea of doing a Corsair fleet for the Dark Elves because I thought it would be fantastic to play around with a lot of those brighter colours, purples and blues and that kind of thing. But never really got around to it. But yeah, it's really awesome seeing what has come together for this project here.
Because these are Dark Elves, they have a lot to do with the Deepkin, or are they kind of the same?
The Dark Elves like this are different because they make up the fleets of the Grand Alliance of Order, more or less. So Dark Elves, but then you've got two different other types. You've got other types of dark. So you've got the Daughters of Cain, who are the sort of new Dark Elves.
Okay.
They're the ones slaughtering everybody, and offering up things to the gods of murder. And then the idea to keep Deepkin are kind of Teclis's failed experiments to try and make elves live forever. So these are like a sub faction within the Grand Alliance of Order. So.
Oh, I only noticed because this has a very aquatic look to it.
Yeah, it's
and I don't know any difference between them.
Yeah, they're like the Corsairs and pirates that patrol the seas of the mortal realms. So
cool.
They would go very well alongside things like the Adoneth Deepkin because you could use them as the navy that is on the top of the water while the Adoneth are underneath and stuff.
Yeah,
so they're still all elves or ALs.
Ales. So next we have the Château de la Maison, Les Auctions en Beau, maybe, by Schomburg. Second project, the Strasser buildings in Parknum completing the time as a chateau. I like to highlight this one because I think he did a fantastic little piece on the airbrushing of this. I mean, it got built up, and he's using some piece of styrofoam. I don't know if styrofoam will be a good choice because it would tend to like prick off, but I think it looks nicely on this, and even just that it looks like a canvas bag that he's used, or a canvas texture for the ground as well. But I wanted to say that he did a fantastic job in the airbrushing of the house there, because it looks suitably aged, I would say, suitably weathered, and it looks like a proper little townhouse. I'm looking forward to seeing how the back yard looks as well. And I assume this is happened around Happy Father's Day. Got a nice little card there for him. Yeah, some really nice stuff here. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next with these like little vegetable patches, and we hope to see you back on the project very, very soon. Sorry, excuse me. Next, I think we'll go to the Monte Casino, and then Ben, if we want to have a look at this week's community spotlights, that should be us. We've sped through quite a lot of this list. We still have quite a bit to go, but we will continue that next week, I think, along with some new projects that are on the go. This is the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Monte Cassino. Army build by Redvers. Some awesome little tanks here. Very, very cute. If John was here, he'd be squeeing all over the show.
Just as a note, my computer has frozen, so I may not be able to view anything that you are viewing, but I'm still.
That's okay, Ben. You're still with us. We can still see you working your way through the internet. So just imagine a lot of tanks. Apparently they're Churchills, base coated on lollipop sticks. A little bit of shading going on with the transfers on, and yeah, they all look fantastic. Love to see them on the tabletop. Ben, I'm sure you're imagining some fantastic work here.
I have looked through this project already, and I thought it was very, very cool. It's very nice. It's been going on for quite a while as well, I believe, actually. So it's really nice to see it sort of slowly come into fruition as it builds towards that final battle and stuff.
So just before we finish up with the community spotlight, if we click on the hobby hangout, just to see if anyone has shared any projects with us they wish to show off. Nope. So every week, if I switch to the front camera, we go through a community spotlight, and now I have to just log into the website.
Thankfully, I do know what was in this, so I can talk about it.
Good. Good to know, Ben. Okay, so having a look at our community spotlight this week, if I get the link, kapow.
Although they won't be able to view that link. Never mind.
No, I know.
Oh, right,
so this week's community spotlight: a stalwart Romans, undead queens, and a colourful lady. Colourful lady indeed. But first off, we have to give an award to Satinius Polinius, and to be honest, we could probably give Satinius Polinius a community spotlight every week, because it seems he just is a powerhouse. Yeah.
The reason I picked this one out as well, particularly, is because obviously we haven't featured him for a while in Community Spotlight anyway, and so it's nice to obviously go back and have a look at what he's been doing. But this was one of his most recent ones. It's slightly larger scale than some of the stuff he's worked on before, so it's 40 mil rather than 28 or 32, which I thought was really cool. And it's kind of got like a little bit more of a fantasy feel to it, so it's a bit more of a heroically proportioned Roman, so it was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked the metal work on the arm was really nice, and the sort of dirty bronze, and then that kind of like trademark grim look that I think Satinius Polinius does for his stuff. I think is really cool. And the base then sort of completed it, which I thought was really good, with the skull on it and everything. And I believe there's actually some blood on the gladius as well, which I thought was really cool. You can't quite see it in that picture, but there is definitely some there.
Yeah.
And very cool.
Looks very well. It looks a very weathered Roman warrior right there. I love the musculature work on that. They're really nice skin tones. And as I said before, like, we could give Satinius Polinius an award every week and still not get bored. Excuse me. But next we have Piers, and this is a Thorns of Briar Queen. And we've noticed this project before, and we just wanted to give it a little bit of an award, because it's such, while it does seem like a little bit of a simple paint scheme, the way he's contributed to it, I think works fantastically.
It's incredibly evocative, I think, and it's very poppy as well. Like, because when we saw this, I think we saw this last week, didn't we? We were looking through the forums, because this is from What Are You Painting Now, and I picked this out because I really, as you were pointing out last week when we were talking about it, the rust on the metal is just amazing, and I think it plays into the way that the metal has been sculpted to be like bent and twisted, and almost gives it an almost realistic look to it. It seems really cool. And then that contrasts really nicely, that sort of deep red of the rust with the bright colours for the pallid and green flesh, and then the spiritual look to the Briar Queen herself as well. So it's a really awesome looking little warband from Nightbolt.
Yeah,
very cool.
It's very interesting that you can probably I can count 6 colours on this, and that's all you really need. I think. Yeah. I mean, you could do a little bit of the base, but the way this is created, it almost looks as if it's brought the night with it. Like, yeah, it's only lit up by the shades of moonlight, as it were, and you could paint up these flowers and stuff, but I think it works so much better having it that ethereal look, where it's very ghostly. It'd almost be like if you killed one, they'd leave behind a goop of ectoplasm.
Yeah. Bit slimy style.
Yeah. And lastly, we have a D2 Painterth.
Oh, yes.
And this is the Lady Olinder, I think.
So it's Lady Olinda from the new take on the undead, from the Night Haunts from Games Workshop and Age of Sigmar, but it's been given a little bit of a twist because it's been done as sort of a Day of the Dead style character. So you know the thing in the oh my god,
come on Ben, you can do it.
In the Mexican calendar where they celebrate the Day of the Dead and that kind of thing, and they've got the festivals and that party atmosphere, they've done, well, D2 Painterth has done that on the model, as you can see here, and gone into real depth to almost give it an entirely different sort of style. So when I was looking at this miniature, obviously it's from Age of Sigmar and it has that feel to it. It's got that big, heroic, over proportioned feel. But this could be found in something like Malifaux, for example, something like that. Just sort of dropped in there as this interesting sort of
Carnivale.
creation that's come to, like, or Carnivale as well. That'd be brilliant. There's so much detail that's going into everything here, and I believe that D2 Painterth is actually taking part in the Ever Chosen painting competition. So that's a painting competition set up by Games Workshop, which is sort of a worldwide competition, which is then judged in stores and stuff and goes through heats and things to find the greatest painter in the world and get a really badass sword, Archeon sword, in fact,
cool.
Slayer of Kings. But yeah, just the amount of painting work that's gone into this is stunning. Such nice freehand work, and which you can see in some of the detail photos further down. But I really liked how the shroud had been done. And because it's done as if it's a skeletal head below a veil, and that could be done in a very sort of simple way with just a white thing and a little bit of shading and stuff. But I think a lot of detail has been added to make it look that extra level of spooky, and almost give it like a semi-translucent look to the fabric as well.
Runaway Bride kind of feel.
Yeah, it's really, really creepy and perfect, obviously, for what D2 Painterth is trying to achieve here with the model. So, very cool.
Fantastic looking piece there. I can't imagine it'd be easy to paint. It looks very looks very I don't want to say brittle, but you know what I mean. A lot of thin pieces to it. But yeah, fantastic work. That's the community spotlight for this week. Stay tuned at about 3 o'clock. That'll go out live, I think. And if you wish to join us for even more fantastic content, come across to OnTableTop.com. We have a wide selection of news, reviews, let's plays. We had a vlog go out yesterday talking about the 40k event that we're having coming up in August, this week in the Weekender. Tune in for I think Warren's definitely going to be in it, and he's probably going to be talking about Area 51 and these Tic Tac UFOs from the US Navy. So
I so hope he keeps some of this for backstage. So, we can actually talk about it. But anyway, I believe we've also got something that says if you're over in Northern Ireland, obviously we have the OnTableTop Pro Store, and I believe Charlie is over from Warlord Games at the moment.
he is,
Talking
yes.
about SBQR, so if you're over and you want to come and play the game, you can come and hang out tonight at the
On tabletop. It's a community store.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, Ben, for joining me this week. I will see you again next week.
Worries. I've got to go and do a hard reset of my PC. There we go.
I know. And we hope to see you guys again next week too. Bye.
Bye.
I'm waiting for the siren to go off.
Oh.
Bye,
Oh,
Ben.
no. Bye.